Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And after another difficult day for OpTic Chicago up yesterday, there was a lot to talk about exactly regarding this team right now, what could be going wrong, but also what they have to do on Sunday against Atlanta FaZe to still qualify for the winners bracket here at the Stage 3 Major. And well, having looked into it a little bit more, it's actually even harder for them than I originally thought. We're going to be talking about this today. Intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section. I'd like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new, as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. And of course, we are returning to LAN for the Stage 4 Major, June 17th through to the 20th. That, of course, is phenomenal news. And I'm pretty sure in light of this, the OpTic guys aren't going to make any changes anytime soon or anything like that. I'm pretty sure that they're confident when they get back to LAN, things are going to be pretty different. However, if they keep playing as they are right now, I think it's going to be a difficult time for them to improve significantly over where they are right now. Because the last couple of stages, Stage 2 and Stage 3, OpTic have both had a tough time making it to, well, making it to the winners bracket right for the Major. And if you can't make it to the winners bracket for the Major anyway, even if the winners bracket is going to be on LAN, then well, you're going to have a hard time actually making a run in a tournament. Even the best teams on LAN, well, it's pretty rare that you're going to make a losers bracket run all the way, even well, kind of like Toronto did last time, but they did start in winners at the very least. So anyway, COD League yesterday do announce the following. This is kind of interesting actually. So they've changed up the format for the Major, if you guys wanted to wear. For Major 3 and the previous, or Major 2 and the previous Majors before that, it was a 5-day schedule. It was kind of ridiculous in a way because the games would finish on Sunday for the previous week, and then just 2 days later it would start again on the Wednesday pretty much. So or there would be 2 days break and it would start on the Wednesdays, and now they're pushing it back to a Thursday. So it's a 4-day schedule. Thursday, Friday have 4 games on each. Then on Saturday there's 5 games. I don't know how I'm going to cover that one, but we'll give it a go. And then the Sunday there's 3 games once again. So condensing the Major into 4 days, I think that's probably better for a fan experience. As I say, I'm not sure how well I'll be able to keep up 2 videos, but we'll have to see how the going goes. But yeah, honestly, I think that's probably a step in the right direction for fans. At least, well, keeping it a 4-day schedule for the Major. When it's back on LAN, I think they're going to keep going down this route as well. But it will be in place for Major 3, which is going to be online starting in, well, a week or so's time right now. Wanted to mention this from Clayster as well, because I thought this is kind of funny from, well, the MSI event that's going on League of Legends right now. This guy brings the ruler. I'm not sure if he has the spirit level here as well, but if it were me, I might be bringing out the spirit level to make sure that, well, my monitor is straight up 90 degrees. As Clay says, catch me at the Esports Stadium with that foot-long thing absolutely strapped. As he says, 29 today. Insane to think about. Almost 30 years old, 29, but gameplay 18. It's kind of funny. When you hear people talk about gameplay 18, usually they're like 23, 24, and it's only a few years ago they're 18. Clayster, it's over a decade ago. This guy still killing it at the top level of Call of Duty. It's pretty remarkable to see. And talking about this series once again from yesterday, I thought this was interesting what Clayster had to say in references as well regarding this spawn. You guys might remember this happened over towards the P2. Very interesting that Envoy gets this spawn in the back right here. You can kind of see that it's almost like it's not quite popped up when Envoy spawns here, but it's still kind of remarkable that Envoy gets this spawn right behind Clayster. And well, number 2 and number 7 spawn in at exactly the same time right here. And as Clayster says, Envoy spawned behind me on P2. I was counting the seconds to make sure he shouldn't be able to spawn there. It was mind blown. We are not even blocking Eski's spawn, so why would he not spawn Eski's in this situation? You can see a world in which spawning Eski's makes a lot more sense given the way his teammates are positioned, but well, apparently it's a perfectly fine for him to spawn back there. I was mind blown. We died at the same time. I held hoping I'd get lucky. That I saw you was like, what the hell, I managed to get lucky as well. Brother, I was counting the seconds to make sure when I hit the respawn button, I spawn in when the new hill has popped, so I get my spawns anchored towards that new hill. Pretty common strat that is done. Came round into your pre-aim, absolutely mind-blown, says Clayster. But of course, they did still end up winning that map. And as Formal says, to kind of, well, talk about exactly their loss in a bit more detail, no teamwork recently, just got to find it ourselves again. Poor showing out of us these last 2 matches. We will bounce back. But they're going to have to bounce back in pretty big fashion. Is this the issue? Is it the teamwork, which is the issue with the OpTic guys? I think it certainly is in a way, because, I mean, the talent on this team is no joke, certainly. But other teams right now seem to be much better in terms of a well-oiled machine. OpTic Search and Destroy has been pretty solid. Their respawns, on the other hand, really haven't been. And I think a lot of the time they require an individual player to just take over a map to get anything done. We saw it in the Checkmate Control yesterday. They needed Envoy to have a monster map to actually get anything done in that series. And when the slaying from this team isn't spectacular at all, they have a very difficult job really getting anything done. And we've seen it in the Apocalypse now a couple of times up against Los Angeles Thieves, and then also against the Subliners, of course, yesterday, getting blown out on like a massive run where the teamwork doesn't seem to be there. And it doesn't seem like Apocalypse is really a great map in theory for a team like OpTic, because their SMGs aren't incredibly fast, aggressive SMGs, right? You see a lot of teams right now have, well, one SMG player at least that is really up in your face. I mean, you can look at Simp and aBeZy, of course. You can look at what Thieves have done. They've got, well, Huke into their team now. You can look at Subliners, certainly with the Seaman Hydra. You can also look at, well, Toronto Ultra, for example, with CleanX and Bance. Pretty aggressive players. OpTic don't really have that in terms of what their SMG line does, so not necessarily sure that Apocalypse makes too much sense for that team, but at the same time, maybe you need one of your SMG players to go down that route, right? Because I think Envoy is a fantastically talented player, and he could play a more aggressive role maybe if they decided to make that work. But, you know, we can see from a couple of clips we looked at yesterday, like the teamwork just doesn't seem to be there for the OpTic guys, not rotating properly, taking individual gunfights. And back in the day, like former OpTic teams, they could get away with that because their skill was just so much above and beyond some of the other teams that are available in the league, or some of the other players that are available in the league, that OpTic could just get away effectively, you know, taking individual gunfights, not necessarily playing with incredible teamwork. And back in the jetpack titles, how much teamwork did you really need other than just flying at everything at the same time? This game is a little bit more difficult to actually figure out. And watching OpTic play on the map, a lot of the times they play super slowly. They they go around kind of, well, I guess they go around together, but a lot of the times breaking hard points, they spend ages like setting up their setup that they want to use to break, just giving the other team a lot of time. It feels to me that this team, if this was like World War II, they'd have been really great at that game, right? Playing things pretty methodically, pretty slow. I just think a lot of the times OpTic seem somewhat too slow on the map. I mean, they're taking their time so much getting these breaks that, you know, they only give themselves one shot at it, and then they have to rotate. And I don't know, just some things that I see seem, well, it seems like other teams have kind of moved on from that kind of play style, and we can see it here, especially, well, I mean, you can see, I think this is what I pointed out yesterday, but Scump gets one kill down low, Hydra kills one up top, then he takes down Envoy in the hill, and then, you know, Scump's nowhere near for the trade. And of course, this is only one example, but they went on a crazy run here, did New York, as JP Krez says, that was part of a 153-5 point run after the P4 to win the map. So obviously just got bodied hill after hill after hill, couldn't get out of their world. The mistakes they made really costed them. That is the kind of stuff that happens on Apocalypse, but at the end of the day, it's almost happened to them twice in a row now. So you got to think either don't play that map, or well, think of something else and hope the standoff comes in as soon as it can possibly for stage 4, and that's going to be okay. Thought this was interesting to mention from Kelly Sports fan as well. You can see Scump in the chat right here talking about we start streams again on Monday, and it is interesting in the way that OpTic, of course, haven't been streaming scrims. They've been doing a lot of like best of 11 practices and stuff like that off stream, and I thought that might make some significant impact to how well they're going to be performing here in stage 3. Doesn't really seem to be the case so far. Of course, they still have time to turn things around, but the time is dwindling very quickly indeed. I thought it was interesting, right, given the fact that it was yesterday on the 6th of May when Octane and Methods joined Scump and Crimsix back in 2018. Despite not placing top 3, they had an 18-9 series win-loss as a roster. Happy OpTic day, says Methods. 3 mailboxes and a Seth, says Scump right here, and you know, Methods comes in the replies. There was some follow-up on this as well. Methods says, on this day 3 years ago, the best OpTic team of all time was formed. That, of course, being Scump, Crimsix, Methods, and Octane during the World War II season after they decided to, well, Formal wanted to leave, basically, from the Dynasty team. There was Formal and Karma alongside Scump and Crimsix, if you guys are new to the scene, and they decided to put Karma to the bench in pretty remarkable fashion for the rest of the season, and I'm pretty sure instead of Methods, they wanted Huke and they wanted Zuma. That didn't work out, so they got Methods in the end, but yes, Codling say what we ordered versus what we got. So, interesting day for OpTic more generally on the timeline, as Methods says, I can't believe we dropped Sam. That being Octane from OpTic in World War II, especially with how talented and attractive he is. It should have been Crim the whole time. Guy has a blockhead and had a mental block versus Pat. Guy's head is massive. What is going on to Octane? But also, of course, in the World Championship when they lost to Evil Geniuses in the group play match that was so impactful for them up against, of course, Paddy, P, Eggs, Price on the other side of the station. And also talking about Method, he says right here, Big Zin, X, Huge, Duarte, looks like a potentially Parasite of Method's actually going to be teaming down there in the Challenger side. So certainly something to keep your eyes on going forward as well. And well, talking about today's games in just a couple of seconds here, thought this is interesting, the fact that Tom Ryan Ogre 2 is on the phone with Neptune's internet service provider to try and get some sort of issues fixed. So supposedly he's been having some internet issues we did kind of see earlier this season with Prestinni in stage 1. He was not looking too hot. He gets some internet issues fixed when he moves up to Atlanta or wherever he moved to for stage 2. Prestinni looked a hell of a lot better. So who knows with the Neptune if Tom Ryan could get this kind of stuff figured out, maybe this team gets significantly better. Who really knows? But of course they do play later today. So 2 very influential matches here. FaZe Surge and Empire versus the Mutineers. Now FaZe Surge is actually really interesting, and I'll go into why in just a couple of seconds. Firstly, let's look at Group A. So Toronto Ultra right now locked up, as we've been talking about. Dallas Empire, of course, sitting now at 2-1 in a pretty nice fashion. Minnesota Rokkr 2-2. Mutineers still have a chance. This victory for Dallas tonight, if they did get it, would of course be massive for them and would lock them up pretty nicely, I'm pretty sure, for the top 3 for the, well, the winners bracket to make it there for the major. But Group B is absolute chaos. So this is why Subliners qualified for the winners bracket effectively. Yes, I didn't really talk about this too much. I tried to, well, wrap my head around all the possible combinations, and there are a lot of possible combinations. But the Subliners, even if they lose to Thieves, if they beat Thieves on, well, they play on Saturday, they'll be 4-1, they qualify guaranteed. If they lose to Thieves, then Thieves will be 4-1 and Thieves qualify guaranteed, but Subliners will be 3-2. And let's say the worst case scenario for Subliners in that case is that FaZe beat, or the FaZe beat Surge, and then OpTic beat FaZe, and then all these 3 teams will be 3-2. But Subliners hold the tiebreaker over both FaZe and OpTic, and therefore they hold hold the head-to-head map count, the better head-to-head map count against both teams on average, and therefore subliners win that overall the head-to-head tiebreak. So they make it out guaranteed regardless of what happens. Now on the other side of things, FaZe and OpTic find themselves in a little bit more of a precarious position. If FaZe lose to Surge tonight, not expected, but if FaZe lose to Surge, they'll be 2-2, and then all OpTic have to do, I'm pretty sure at that point, is just beat them, right? And if they just beat them, they'll be 3-2, and then of course they'll be, well, the third place team, and FaZe will be down there in fourth. However, if FaZe beat Surge tonight, as you would expect them to, they'll be 3-1, and then OpTic will obviously have to beat FaZe to get 3 victories. So then what will happen is, either way it happens, whether Subliners or Thieves win, then one of these teams is going to be 3-2, and they could be in a head-to-head tiebreak. So let's say FaZe win against Surge, they'll be 3-1, then one of these teams loses on Saturday, they'll be 3-2, and then OpTic beat FaZe. They'll all be 3-2. However, the head-to-head map count is very important here, and that's what I'm pretty sure will determine the tiebreakers. So let's say Subliners lose to Thieves, for example. Thieves will qualify at 4-1, Subliners will be there at 3-2, and well, as we said, Subliners will win one of the map count situations against FaZe or OpTic, so it'll be between FaZe and OpTic for the third seed. Now, the difference is, right, is that Subliners beat OpTic 3-1, and Subliners beat New York 3-2. So OpTic have a disadvantageous map count situation between the head-to-heads right now. So what it means is, I'm pretty sure, regardless of the situation, also it was the same thing up against FaZe, when FaZe beat Thieves 3-2, but then Thieves actually beat OpTic 3-1, right? So either way it goes, OpTic are in a disadvantageous position in terms of map count to Subliners or the Thieves when you look at what Atlanta FaZe did against them. And what that means is that OpTic, I'm pretty sure, can't beat FaZe 3-2. If OpTic beat FaZe 3-2, as long as FaZe beat Surge tonight, they still don't make it, because I'm pretty sure map count would not go their way. So I believe OpTic have to beat FaZe at least 3-1 or better to qualify, as long as FaZe beat Surge tonight. So FaZe, I'm pretty sure, if they beat Surge tonight, they can kind of be chilling in the way that they just need to get to a Game 5 against OpTic, and then they're guaranteed to the winners bracket. So OpTic have a really uphill battle against them here. The fact that they've lost to both Subliners and Thieves does not make things easy. Beating FaZe already is going to be a tough task, and to do it in at least 4 games, if not ideally you want to 3-0 them, but well, if that's, well, it's obviously going to be a hard time, right, and FaZe are a difficult team to get past, especially in a 3-0 fashion, especially with OpTic's respawn looking shaky at the present time. So that's how it breaks down. OpTic have a very difficult time right now of making it all the way to the winners bracket. Do you think they're going to be able to do so? Do you think they'll be able to fix so in time? I think it's honestly doubtful, and if they start from the losers bracket here, there's big questions about this team. However, with LAN on the horizon, I still don't think they're going to be considering changes anytime soon, and probably won't make changes for the rest of the season. But if I was general managing this team, I would at least be having some considerations. But intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'll grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.